Hello there, Libra. Let's talk about your purpose. I'm Michelle B. And let's see. So, some of us are really lucky in that we already know what our purpose is. We already know how we can make the world a better place outside of just, outside of just ourselves. If whether it's improving the quality of one life, or showing up to our best, showing up as our best selves for our family, our friends, or whether it's affecting and influencing millions of people. Some of us already know what that is. Some of us are not in alignment with it. We're not sure. I believe that whatever it is that we're doing that we love to do, that makes other people's lives a little bit better, is our purpose. And it doesn't have to be, what society deems as an awesome purpose. it just is what it is. But all of us have obstacles, doubts, and fears that keep us from living up to our greatest potential. So that's what I'm going to be looking at here. A couple of cards. I'm picking out a couple of cards for the doubts and fears, and a card for the underlying cause of that. So once we identify our self-sabotaging beliefs and where they came from, we can say, hey, this is what's happening when it happens. And I'm going to pull a couple of cards for actionable steps for becoming in alignment to your greatest potential, to your highest purpose. So 2 more cards here, Libra, and then we're going to get started. Interesting set of cards we have coming out here. Well, I mean, I'm really attracted to, in all the other readings that I've done so far, I've started at the top, which was the doubts and fears, but I feel like things got flipped around for Libra, with the actionable steps being these really addressing these underlying issues. And so I feel like I need to talk about that first. And that's there's this heartbreaking grief that's cornering, that's pushing you into a corner. And so we're going to be addressing that. I feel like I need to bring that out first before I go up to the doubts and fears, because it's all intertwined. Okay, so doubts and fears, it's there's this chatter the 6 of Cups is this that it's nostalgia for the good old days, things when things were better. And I feel like Libra put themselves on a pedestal when they were young. They were like, I'm going to be doing all this stuff. These are all the things that I imagine that I'm going to be doing when I grow up, right? And what happened was somebody came along when you were a kid, the grown-ups came along, and they're like, so what are you going to do when you grow up? And you told them, and they're like, sure, patting you on the head, sure, honey, whatever. That sounds ridiculous. I mean, your ideas were just way up there. You're going to be influencing all these people. You're going to be rich. You're going to be famous. and people around you were like, well, people like us don't really do that. That's not really realistic. It's pretty rare that people get that lucky. And then you were like, oh, well, I was just talking about the full moon in Leo that happened last week. And so this is kind of influencing, or informing where this reading is coming in, is that what we do is we downgrade our desires. At least we still have them in our heads, but we're not telling anybody, and we're not actively working toward those dreams, those hopes, those aspirations, because we don't want to disappoint the people that we love. We don't want them to think that we're ridiculous, that we're naive, and we certainly don't want them to see us fail if we do try to reach high for these big aspirations. We don't want them to be heartbroken for us. And there's the heartbreak card, right? So, some of you might be in your 20s. That means it's never, you're in your 20s, you can still reset your life, and you can still go forward. Some of you that are watching might be in your 40s or later, and you're my whole life has passed me by and I never lived up to my aspirations, and because I always put myself into a box according to what other people thought of me. And it broke my heart to do that to myself, but guess I didn't want to disappoint them, so I just did what I was supposed to do, just going along with it. But what ended up happening for me is that I was like, I'm gonna be a good girl. And then I turned 40 years old. My father passed away. I became estranged from most of my family because of a negative dynamic. My father was the only person that tied us together. And so all I had, I didn't have those old ideas that I was raised with to pigeonhole me. And I was like, wow, I don't have anybody to tell me who I am anymore. I can be anyone that I want to be. And then I lit up. I lit up inside because I finally became aware that I could do anything that I want. And so this is what the cards are challenging you. This is what they're saying. The cards are saying to you, Libra, is they're saying, you don't have to do that anymore. Those people that tried to tell you to be realistic about your dreams and your goals, they were trying to help you, right? They were trying to be helpful to you. But it's actually not helping, because what did it do for them? Did having that mindset that you have to be realistic, you have to be grounded, you have to be disciplined, what did that get for them? Did it work? Did it work for them to live out their dreams? No. It hasn't been good for you either. So you don't have to do that anymore. Now, you can do anything you want to do. I love that. You could buy a Harley. Did you hear that, Harley out there? You can buy a Harley if you want. Now, we got the Nine of Swords for how to get yourself in a place of alignment with your purpose, confident, relieving that self-doubt. How to get there? We got the Nine of Swords in reverse. And to me, the Nine of Swords is very much the prayer card, the being in connection with the Spirit. So, when I feel cornered, that my own efforts aren't working, what everything that I can possibly think of to do isn't working, that's when I turn this. See how she's holding her head? She's like, everything that I'm doing, everything that I try to do, it doesn't work. Then I go like this. I go from this to this, right? And I say, please give me guidance on how to come in alignment with my greatest potential. Please show me the next step forward. And I do that before I go to bed. The next day, I have an inspiration. It happens. You allow yourself, you open yourself up to it, the inspiration comes in. It's amazing. I try to write it down because it's a miracle every time. And it's like a baby step. It's just a small little thing. Just like, go talk to so-and-so. Or, just make a little video. It's just these little things. Just like balance my checkbook, stuff like that. Little things. But what happens is that I become more and more firm with the direction that I want to go. So I would put these two together if I were you. If I were you, Libra, I would put those together. I would use prayer and divine intervention to put me where I wanted to be when I was a kid. To put me in the position of who I wanted to be when I was a kid. Think back. If you don't know what your purpose is right now, for those of you who don't know, what did you want to be when you were 7 years old? There you go. I love you, Libra. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I'll see you later.